Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Tell It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Peer Guidance. We guide, listen, and help small businesses, entrepreneurs achieve their goals. I would like to thank Matador Pizza and Steakhouse for their sponsorship. Yes, we've gone to a really local steakhouse close to Market Mall there. Since 1976, they have been serving Calgary's best Greek-style pizza. One of the cool things about their location, though, is you can pay in Bitcoin. They also host a Bitcoin ATM there. So go check them out, and thank you to Jason and his team there. I am excited about today's guest, Andrew, not only because of my background in food. I love food, and I've been in that industry forever, but we're going to be talking about a culinary co-working. So, Andrew, thank you for joining me. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, it's we were talking a little bit beforehand about how co-working has moved and into and who knows how it's going to move forward here after the pandemic. And now we cross paths, and I can't remember how we were introduced, but here we are, and we have a co-working spot to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the reality of where things are going is you've seen a huge increase in co-working spaces, but shared use space, I think where the world's going is out, and whether or not it's, using unused resources of cars that Uber has jumped on, or unused resources of office space that WeWork, or one of our amazing local co-working spaces that actually I have an office in, Work Nicer, with Alex there. We're using underutilized resources, and now we've kind of transitioned that with Culinary Coworking into the culinary space.
No, absolutely, and I'm excited to talk about that. But I'm going to do a brief introduction about you, and then we'll get after it. So, Andrew is a co-owner of YYC Spin Studio, born and raised Calgarian, and two passionate, hardworking parents. He inherited the entrepreneurial spirit instilled in him from an early age. Following his university athletics career as a defensive end with the U of C Dinos football team and a playing weight of 260 pounds, he graduated with a Bachelor of Commerce in International Business. He undertook a number of business ventures, facing no shortage of challenges along the way. In 2002, he had his first encounter with teaching spin and discovered a deep-rooted passion for it. He was determined to make it his purpose. This is what impresses me the most, and I mean, we'll get into it here. But outside of business, Andrew strives to inspire through giving back to the community by actively supporting multiple organizations, including the ATX, Young Entrepreneurs, Prostate Cancer Center, Canada, Project Human Services for adults with developmental disabilities. And Andrew and YYC Cycle has raised over $750,000 for charities through their giver campaigns. And I just want to say thank you for that. Anytime someone like yourself's a leader in that industry and giving back to people in need, not only raising money for them, but giving back your time, it's got to touch you, be obviously a special point for you and, in your heart and your family.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also an amazing opportunity to have your customers, and at the Spin Studios, it's our riders, be involved in where money goes to. At the Spin Studios over the last 7 years, we've had our giver campaigns, and what it is that we host one class per week, and it's a half price class. And that money at the end of the year, comes into the company, and that goes towards our corporate donation. And, it's not just one thing, us as my business partner and I deciding where that money goes towards, but every quarter we have the biker gang, the riders, vote and decide on what local charities they want the money to go towards, essentially deciding where our corporate donations go. And it really creates an affinity for the brand, the community, but also an ownership. Like they become owners of the business in that decision. So,
no, I mean, that is just fantastic, and thank you for that. I mean, it's also close. We try and do a lot of that ourselves, but I mean, anytime I like bringing that up and making sure that that people understand that's not only part of your value system, but your business value system. And people should take that into consideration when they're looking at a spin studio or a co-working spot. So, well, let's talk about how did Culinary Coworking come to fruition?
Yeah, it's a great story, and like you kind of said in the bio, thanks for that. I found a deeply rooted passion into spin and everything that happened in the studios, but also what I found the passion for was growing community and creating community. It's been an incredible experience on the studio side, and one that we continue to build and have big aspirations for. But I grew up with, two parents who were entrepreneurs, and one of which, my dad, is a master chef by trade. He's been a master chef for over 30 years. He learned how to cook in Vienna, Austria, and, has cooked for everybody from the Queen of England to being the chef of 2 Olympic Games in Canada to my next door neighbor's barbecue kind of thing, and everybody in between. And growing up in the food industry, if I get 10% of the work ethic that my dad has, I would consider myself very lucky. It's not an easy industry to be in. It's a very low margin industry. And at this point, after 30 years, we started discovering some things in the industry and the ecosystem that were happening. One, we had a downturn in Calgary. My dad's catering company that he was operating out of the current kitchen that Culinary Coworking is in right now was doing a lot of corporate catering. You had some disruptors come into the industry as far as Uber Eats, Skip the Dishes, and so on. It became harder and harder for the local grassroots culinary services to really compete. And so my dad and I sat down at one point in time and I said, okay, how are we going to deal with this? And the idea came up to take what co-working has done in the office space and bring it into the culinary world. And, we looked at some case studies in the US that had done it. There was, a few. There wasn't that many out there. But we really looked at some case studies of what made some successful, what obstacles others had. And 2 years ago, we created Culinary Coworking and flipped the model within the current kitchen that my dad was operating and created Culinary Coworking. And we haven't looked back. It's been a really, really exciting past 2 years.
No, that's awesome. And I agree with your statement there. I mean, Alex, I love what Work Nicer does. He's been on this show. We've given away spots in his to some of our listeners in his co-working place. So, if Alex is listening, thank you for all the support that you give us. And obviously, but culinary co-working is a lot different. It's not as easy to start. There's a lot of gear that you need, a lot of equipment you need. So I guess your dad's had that little head start, but can you explain how this process works?
Yeah, absolutely. It's you hit the nail on the head, and I think that's where some of the models that attempted to do co-working within the kitchen space, some of them that failed were the ones that did not understand the intricacies of the food industry, and I think that's where my dad's experience really leans in. And me, this is a really great opportunity. I think that there was a really big need for creating community. You see the farmers market community, like the food market is a really tight-knit community, but then everybody goes out to their home kitchens or their kitchens that are rented out at a community hall or their own unique commercial kitchens, and then everybody separates. It's fragmented. And so what we do at Culinary Coworking is we've created this ecosystem that supports culinary entrepreneurs to be successful and have opportunities. Our members, we have a diverse group of members, everything from donuts to meal prep to pretzels to jams and granola to baked goods, to chili oil and so on. So what we do is the entrepreneurs, when a culinary entrepreneur wants to start up a business, they're met immediately with kind of the cart in front of the horse obstacles, right? If you want to produce goods for the public, it has to be produced in a commercial kitchen, a certified commercial kitchen. Now, you only have a few options from there. Either you try to make it at home, and for the most part with Alberta Health Services, and especially what we've been going through with COVID, you can get in a lot of trouble with that. Two, you rent space from, let's say, a community hall or a church or even from a restaurant after hours. And it's a pretty lonely space. And I think all entrepreneurs can understand feeling alone and that you're the only one going through what you're going through. You can look at, buying and building your own commercial kitchen, but that can be upwards of $500,000. And then you still have a lot of underutilized space and time. Or you come to us at Culinary Coworking, and happy to talk about it some more. But at Culinary Coworking, we create an ecosystem, not only the community. We've created really amazing partnerships, from providing discounts for raw goods, for packaging, for printing, for courier services. Really at the end of the day, my dad and I, our goal is to create opportunities for our members, and that's a really exciting thing.
Yeah, I agree, right? And I see that all the time, being out there helping a lot of these small businesses, working with them, and again, I really believe in what you said, and I mean this, I think, goes up to your upbringing and how you give back, but it is a tough challenge for a lot of these people. We do feel, a lot of entrepreneurs, that we are alone. There's no one there to be, we try and stress that asking for help is not a sign of weakness. And, and when we came in there and checked it out, I was just amazed. And I saw how everything was laid out and how your booking system worked. We'll get into that a little bit, but I saw them, talking and I was like, wow, here's people that are, hey, I'm also passing on leads. I'm giving you, hey, talk to this person. Look at this opportunity could be there for you, and some of the other things that you did, that possibly sharing equipment and things along those lines. Expand on a little bit of how the actual guts of the process works for entrepreneurs to do it, and the equipment side and storage.
Yeah, it's and to that, Jade, it's really awesome. We try to provide the platform for collisions to happen and collaborations to happen, and we're always surprised. We had one of our members, BFF Cookies, and another one of our members, Back of the Spoon, that makes pierogi casseroles. Those are kind of two different parts of a meal, but they, all of a sudden we saw that they were doing a collaboration for Valentine's Day, where you have your dinner, your pierogi casserole, you throw it in the oven, done, and then you have your dessert with BFF cookies right after. So it's really cool to see. Or you have Sprout Society that does plant-based meals using the peanut butter from Nude Market with her homemade peanut butters into their pad thai dishes. It's really cool to see what's happening. But yeah, when members approach us, what we do is, the kitchen is a 24-hour-a-day facility. We have some members like Bridgeline Bread that's, baking his bread at midnight until 5 a.m. And then when he leaves, he waves at, Ashley from Ritual Donuts, and he says goodnight, and she says good morning at 2 a.m. And she comes from 2 a.m. till 8 a.m. But what we do is, within the kitchen, we have a set of zones. So we have 4 zones in the kitchen, and those are made up of work tables. So everybody kind of has their home base. And what we do is we look at the equipment needed while they're at that home base and in the kitchen. So, when Sprout Society is working and they have the stove and the ovens and so on, it's very easy for us to have, Corey from Ma Pies that's, producing his pies in a different zone, and nobody's stepping over anybody's feet, or nobody's waiting for machines. We set that time, and then we look at, okay, how many hours are you working, renting from the kitchen per month? And that fits you within one of 4 categories of pricing structure. The more hours you work, the less dollars per hour it is. And then, we have different levels of membership. Some include storage space, some do not. The ones that do not include storage space, you can add that onto your membership. Really, at the end of the day, we want our members to be as efficient as possible and can step up membership, and grow with us as their business grows.
No, absolutely. And I think that's great. I'm talking with Andrew Obrecht, the founder of Culinary Coworking. You can click on there for more information. Just go to the comment section, click on their website. It'll take you directly there. And when you talk about the community, and again, I've seen it, twice in action. How are you finding them? Are you just out there? Are you getting the word out there? Are you going to the farmers market? How are people finding out about Culinary Coworking?
Yeah, I mean, thanks, Jason. One of the opportunities out there is, and everybody loves looking at delicious food. So one of the other things that we do within our business is we provide marketing for our members. We have our social media channel. You can find us at Culinary Coworking on Instagram. But it's pretty tough to not attract people with the type of food and culinary products that our members are producing that we're marketing on our social media channels for. But we've used Instagram has been a really great opportunity for us. We do advertise on Kijiji, but at the end of the day, we have a lot of referrals that come in. Our current members start up with us. They see all the benefits of being part of the community, and then they know someone that produces, whether or not it's chorizo sausages or producing spreads, or like I said, chili oils, or we have a member that we've been talking to that grows mushrooms and is getting into mushroom jerky and so on. And it's really interesting, the network that's out there in food. We also do provide a finder's fee to our members, and we say, hey, if you refer someone to the kitchen, we will take off $300 to your membership over a 3-month period of time, which is certainly valuable. When you look at how much food products they can produce for $300 worth of kitchen time, again, we're building this really great ecosystem.
So it's more of a partnership kind of thing, right? Like you're sitting out there, you're out there, you guys are supplying the spot and then some of the kitchen and the time and really helping a lot of these entrepreneurs. But I mean, they're the ones that are out there and they know of other ones. I know even before we talked about a lady here that unfortunately she wouldn't be able to come. She signed the spot and probably a lot more than what it is and bought the equipment and things along those lines. And I wish I would have met her 2 weeks earlier to say, oh, slide over to Culinary Coworking. So are there, with your social media and things along those lines, I don't want to talk expansion yet. I just kind of want to talk about growth in Calgary. What are you doing in Calgary? Have you seen that, are you at that point that you need to grow here?
Yeah, totally. I think that, the blueprint and the layout of the current kitchen that we're in, originally it was a high production commercial kitchen for catering, and wasn't necessarily the right layout for a co-working kitchen. And so we do have plans for expansion, and we have looked at what does the layout of a co-working kitchen look like to efficiently continue to grow the community. Now, the reality is that, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, but let's talk specifically Calgary right now. Calgary has an amazing food scene, and there's some really, really amazing culinary entrepreneurs that have some incredible products that they want to bring to market. And, through being a part of an ecosystem like Culinary Coworking, we have some really great connections with, Sobeys, Safeway, IGA, with Spud, Blush Lane. We can be the conduit to some of these members if they aspire to get their goods into, retail locations or otherwise. But we do get applications on a weekly basis, and right now we want to make sure that we have the right fit, and we don't. Our goal is not to get the kitchen to 100% capacity and then nobody can grow. Our intention is to get our kitchen up to about 65% capacity and keep it there so that our members can continue to grow. We would hate for someone to need to grow and we don't have any space for them. So the goal is not to pack the kitchen and sell as many memberships as we can. The goal is to continue to grow our community and allow our members to grow with us as well. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that. I love that growth model, and it's not all about the almighty, let's pound it in, get as much revenue out of this. It's about community, and I think that speaks to you as a person, and even listening to the intro. So that is awesome. And I know Jason asked here if your tenants are storing the products on site, raw materials, flour, bread. I know we touched on that. I mean, you also have refrigeration and you also have frozen space.
Yeah, totally. And, Jason, with that, if you check out culinarycoworking.com, you'll see the different levels of membership. We have the Hint membership that doesn't come with any storage, but that's just kind of an affordable springboard for someone to start their business. If they don't, we have some members that simply don't need storage space. But there is an option to add on storage space. The other memberships that we have does come with storage space, whether or not that's fridge, freezer, dry storage, and we just work through allocating what is needed. There's certain memberships that we can work with them if they don't need freezer space, but it comes with freezer space. If they need more dry storage space for flour or baking goods, then of course we can replace the freezer storage with dry storage. We have a pretty intelligent technology in the back end to see what percentage occupancy we have within our storage as well, so that we're not really big into over promising and under delivering. We make sure that we can satisfy the needs of our members before they even sign up for a membership.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for the question, Jason. Again, I'm talking with Andrew, the founder of Culinary Coworking. As I said, you can just click on the website in the comment section, take you directly there. You'll find out more information. So, you kind of talked about, you want to keep that 65%, so there is room for growth. But what about Culinary Coworking as a company? What is, what's your next steps? Is it Calgary? Is it national? Is it world domination? What's your vision for Culinary Coworking?
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning, we went and we trademarked the name Culinary Coworking across Canada. So that should tell you kind of where our vision is. I think there's also an opportunity across North America for this. But at the end of the day, just like on the Spin Studio side, we're really excited to grow a great company over a big company. And so, at the end of the day, if we have 100 locations and it's all for nothing and we don't have the community and the community is not first and the culture's not there, that wouldn't fulfill my passion. I think that the goal is, number one, we're looking at an expansion of our current kitchen, which will see the kitchen space be tripled. And so that will be able to satisfy a lot of the ecosystem that we're building here. And then we're looking to continue to grow to, other locations in Calgary and Edmonton, Alberta, and beyond, Western Canada, and then look at Canada.
And I'm sure your experience with, the Spin Studio probably helps with the knowledge that you need, on how to scale.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, and then on the studio side, I mean, my business partner and our vision is to expand across Canada as well. So it's interesting, the learnings on both sides, what we've learned. I mean, my heart and soul is I'm going to be 80 years old and still teaching a spin class, right? So, my heart and soul is YYC and YG and beyond, and very excited to continue growing that community. The reality is we have 170 people on that team and some really, really great leaders. Would I have been able to help my dad and grow Culinary Coworking a few years ago? No, but we've got some really great leaders that have allowed both Grady and I, my partner, to kind of really focus on the vision of that business and have some great leaders to implement it. That allows me to continue to help, on this side of things with Culinary Coworking and build out that model. My dad is the star of the show and the boots on the ground in the kitchen. He can answer a lot more questions than I can. When members come in and say, hey, I've been perfecting this recipe at home, but now I need to scale it from 10 units to 100 units. He can help them with what that scaling is. You don't just 10 times all the ingredients, and that's kind of the help that we provide. But yeah, getting back to your question, it's there's a lot of learnings, but I think ultimately the essence of what we're trying to build and create is community, both on the studio sides, but bringing that into the Culinary Coworking side is, if we can grow a really great community, I think it'll take on a life of its own. And we just continue to look at how can we provide and build and expand those platforms for that community to thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. I never thought about that aspect of it until you just brought it up now. But having your dad there with all his experience, a master chef, having someone over there, and it doesn't matter if they're making donuts or bread or pierogies, to say, hey, can you help me here? Give me your advice, mentor me. That's priceless.
Yeah, and I think that was what came up. My dad, he is 65 years young and has an incredible amount of knowledge to provide, and that was kind of the shift. It was a time where he stepped out of the execution of going and doing corporate catering and that kind of stuff. And now it's the time for him to support the next generation of culinary entrepreneurs. And he, he's very humble. I like to brag about him, but he's very humble, as most culinary artists are and entrepreneurs are. Yeah. But, the interesting thing, you said partners already, the members that are in our community, they're not our employees. They're our partners. They run their own businesses. And for the most part, we kind of stay out of the way and provide this ecosystem of support, whether or not it's like getting discounted prices on packaging or raw goods or whatever, or logistics, like listening to them, what obstacles they're coming with. And I go and I pitch Culinary Coworking and all the members to these companies. But my dad, certainly he's there. If some member says, hey, I'm looking at a different flavor profile, or I want to create a new product, or what do you think would really go well with this ingredient? And very fortunately, over the last 30 plus years, my dad's refined his skills as a master chef to understand that. But also, he's made a lot of mistakes, as I have as an entrepreneur. He's made a lot of mistakes over the time that he's learned from. So if he can educate these culinary members on that, then maybe they make half as many mistakes as my dad did, because inevitably as an entrepreneur, you still repeat the cycle, right? You still have to learn for yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, and I love that, right? And that's probably, I was asked this question on a podcast the other day, saying, what impresses you the most about the Alberta entrepreneurial ecosystem? And it was just one word: collaboration. Everybody's there. Everybody supports everybody. It doesn't matter if it's a tech or food, or they're there. Everybody will spend some time to help another fellow entrepreneur out, and that puts a smile on my face on a daily basis.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know we got to be a little cognizant of time here. You got a CBC interview, and maybe one day the CBC can wait for telling it like it is, but today is not that day.
Exactly. Soon.
We do have one last question, and I'm really excited to hear your answer with your philanthropic, what you do, and being an entrepreneur in two totally different industries. If you had one piece of advice for a startup entrepreneur or small business, Andrew, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that is even more relevant than ever, kind of going through the pandemic. And that is something that I was told once, a theory about momentum, and that's that the thing about momentum is it's nearly impossible to start. But when you have it, it's nearly impossible to stop. So, always my recommendation to entrepreneurs is, as opposed to looking at your challenges as being defeating and so on, just flip that mindset that what you're growing is momentum. And sometimes it feels nearly impossible to start. But just know that there's going to be that flywheel that happens, and at one point in time, it's going to be nearly impossible to stop. So, just that mindset.
Oh, I love that, and I'm going to steal it.
Good.
Again, I've done 170 of these or something like that, and I've never heard that before. So every time I ask that, I'm always amazed by the answers. That is awesome, momentum. And again, Andrew, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your knowledge, sharing your time. I love what Culinary Coworking does. I'm excited to watch your guys' expansion in Calgary and throughout Alberta and Canada. And it's like, again, I love food, and I think this is such a brilliant idea. So I'm looking forward to watching you and your dad, take over Canada Culinary Coworking space. So good luck to you. And again, thank you for sharing your time today.
That's great. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Andrew, and I hope everybody has a great day, and stay safe, and we will chat soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.